Hello, welcome. I am Diana Palma of Be4STEM, and today I am here to introduce my lesson called Measure Like a Scientist Today. At Be4STEM, we create ways to introduce early learners to the science of the small and careers in science, technology, engineering, and math for their futures as researchers, technicians, or tradesmen. In this lesson, they will practice measuring liquid with various tools and counting in standard and metric measures. And so let's get started. But it also is just fun to pour back and forth. One of the first things that we have in this lesson are pipettes. Now we might call these droppers, but in the lab, in the science lab, they are called tools of the scientist and they are known as pipettes. So I have different sizes for the different size of hands. Some of them are really not ready for these if their tiny hands cannot squeeze until the dropper's full and then let go and then drop one by one. That's something that comes with practice. So we let them practice until they feel comfortable. This medicine dropper pipette is really the hardest one. It's got a hard rubber bulb, and the older ones really still, it's a challenge to learn how to do that, but that's the one they're most familiar with at home. And then this is the water bottle that works like a pipette because it easily drops drop by drop. And that's the one that they probably will most want to use. Of course, we have measuring spoons, but these measuring spoons measure in metric also for volume. And in our lab, we always use metric to measure volume. This one starts with 1/8 of a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon, quarter teaspoon, 1 teaspoon, and 1 tablespoon, and in between. But they're also labeled metric. This one is 1.25 milliliters. In the larger ones, you notice we're introduced to the lip. This is like a regular standard measuring cup, but it not only measures 1 cup, but it measures 250 milliliters of liquid. And with the lip on either side, it makes it very easy to pour for either left-handed or right-handed learners and teachers. Then we go down in size until we get to the 1/8 of a cup size, which is 30 milliliters. So these are all have lips and are all graduated, and they can practice measuring how many of these does it take to fill the largest one, and so on. Now we come to the graduated beakers. We're all used to beakers in the lab, but these actually are very, very simple. They're plastic. They're weighted at the bottom, so they really do, once they have liquid inside, they really do stand up well. And with the lip, they are almost spill-proof, unless, of course, you overfill. That doesn't really work. But they go from 1 milliliter and 1/4 cup up to 5 milliliters or 1 teaspoon. So it is a really early way to introduce them to how we measure volume on labels that we're finding now that are globally labeled in the metric system. We can learn that too, and our early learners will be able to help us in the grocery store. So let me give you an example of how this might work. Let's say we take our smallest measure for this is 1/4 of a teaspoon and 1.25 milliliters. Well, let's ask, how many drops will it take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I've got 20, and it's not quite full up to the meniscus level, but let's go ahead and pour that into the tiniest one and see where it fills to. And you'll see that it comes to a little bit below 1 milliliter full, because 1/4 of a teaspoon is 1.25 milliliters, so it's not quite that much. So if we want to, how do we get that out of there? Well, we can pour it, but what's another way to get it out? If we can teach them to squeeze, hold, wow, and we almost have all of it, because with this one, it's scored, and that's 1 milliliter scored. If we get all of it, then we can pour it into another container where we need that much. So that's how those might work for you. With the larger measures, then you get into talking about if we filled the 2 ounce, 4 tablespoons, 2 ounce cup into the 4 ounce, 1/2 cup. How many of these would we need to fill this one up to the measurement line? And you can begin to teach them about the meniscus line. So there's lots of other things that you can do with this, and I provide questions and extensions for this activity. The students just really want to go back and measure over and over again when they have this one to use. So I hope you'll try it out. They're on my website, and they're at teacherpayteacher.com, and I look forward to helping you soon.